His accuracy, which really popped off the tape for me. I actually have him as a dark horse Heisman pick right now. We were talking about that a little bit yesterday.
Howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Texags Rewind presented by Specs. Everybody out at SEC Media Days in Dallas already gone to go watch the Mike Elko presser. So if you want to watch that and keep up with coverage, take a look at the Texags Twitter. Today on the program, we had Connor O'Gara of Saturday Down South, Randall Cobb, who's just joined the SEC Network. And then we had Locked On Razorbacks podcast host John Nabors, and then Jacob Goins of the On the Line radio show. So that's the Rewind. Check it out.
I think they retained a lot more than people realized. And when you saw the Bill Connolly percentage of returning production, which initially at A&M is #1 in the SEC coming back, and then it factors in like post-spring transfers and stuff like that. And then I think they fell a little bit, like 5th or something like that, but still pretty high and pretty respectable.
Yep.
For all the narratives about this mass exodus and stuff, there was actually a lot of talent that was brought in. I thought Mike Elko did a tremendous job in the transfer portal. I am pre-mad about Nick Scorton, because if that man is not a first-team All-SEC guy going into the season, I will be irate.
Right.
For those who don't know the story, this is a 19-year-old who was named a captain and led a power conference in sacks. He is that dude. I don't know how many people I need to tell this to, but Nick Scorton is worth the price of admission, and that is probably going to be the best player on A&M's roster, I think, this year. I think he's going to be tremendous. And so there are things working in A&M's favor, obviously, despite the fact that it's going to feel like a very new team.
Yeah. So if the roster is somewhat similar, would you say the schedule is easier than it was last year? There's a method to my madness. So
yeah, I think so.
No Bama, right? Like no Ole Miss.
Yeah, no Bama, no Ole Miss. Man, I feel like that opener against Notre Dame is going to tell us a lot. If they play that down to the wire and it is shades of the 2018 Clemson game, and if it feels like, oh man, early, year one kind of statement, I think we're going to be looking at that home schedule a little bit differently. I do think that you're not just going to walk into College Station and just blow out the Aggies. I don't think that they have a roster that necessarily sets up for that this year. So that's the good news, is you don't look at that schedule and say, well, they're going to get blown out in 3 or 4 games.
Right.
It could happen, but at the same time, I think that's maybe the most encouraging thing about this year one, is that you don't instantly feel intimidated, whereas like Florida, oh.
Yeah, that's intimidating. The reason I bring that all up is you've been critical of Jimbo for a long time. They got somebody else in charge now, and a guy who's very detail-oriented. If the roster is somewhat similar, okay, the lost Evan Stewart, Walter Turner, I get it. And all those games, all of them came down to a play or two, as they usually do in the SEC. I feel like as long as the offensive line protects Connor Wigman, they should win more games. Why broadcasting?
I just wanted to check it out. I want to try it and see if I'm good at it. I think I have a lot of knowledge when it comes to the game of football, but I got a lot of catching up to do. And I'm looking forward to having that opportunity and really diving into the knowledge of the game.
Do you have any mentors, or how are you going about preparing? Nick is apparently doing thousands of hours of research, but it's different. Are you more into the tape? Are you reading a lot? What are you doing?
Well, I just now crossed the line, so I haven't even got my credentials for XOs to be able to get on and watch film yet. So that will be me. I'm a film junkie. I've always been a film junkie. I really enjoy the X's and O's and chalk talk and really diving into plays and understanding the systems and some systematically speaking on offenses and seeing what they're trying to attack.
So I know you haven't done a lot of research on A&M, but it's a program that we know it, right? We knock on the door a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And then the door sometimes is slammed shut. From afar, what's been your opinion of A&M?
Well, I love the player, your quarterback. I did see a little bit of tape on him. I was able to go on YouTube and watch some
Connor
video.
Wigman.
Yeah. Seeing Connor Wigman and seeing his ability and his accuracy, which really popped off the tape for me. I actually have him as a dark horse Heisman pick right now. We were talking about that a little bit yesterday. I think when you look at his QB rating and the way that he is so efficient with the football, I'm excited to see him progress in this next season and see if we can get a full sample size. So you got a little taste last year with the 4 games. You had his moments the year before his freshman year. I'm really looking forward to seeing if he can make that jump.
The best year Sam had, they went 9-4.
Mhm.
Would you say the reason was not only exceptional quarterback play, but you have to have that, was that offensive line was elite, and you had a bunch of dudes that had been there for a while?
I think that was offensively, especially where it all started. I mean, you had Traylon Burks too. I mean, there's very few players that come out of Arkansas where I've always talked about generational talent. I think about a Matt Jones, a Darren McFadden, a Joe Adams, and also a Traylon Burks. I mean, the guy was incredible, and he made the offense go so well. But yeah, I think that when you see Sam Pittman in the years he had a great offensive line, because even the 2015 season when he was the offensive line coach at Arkansas, people forget Brandon Allen was the quarterback that year. He threw for over 3,000 yards.
Yep.
Alex Collins, rest in peace, rushed for 1,400 yards that year. It was one of statistically the best Arkansas offenses he ever had. Sam Pittman was the O-line coach, but you had 4 guys on the offensive line that went in the NFL.
Yep.
So whenever Sam Pittman has a great offensive line, the offense is incredible. Is that what's going to be this year? We'll wait and see, but it has to start there, because if you don't have an improved offensive line, it doesn't matter if you got Taylor Green, doesn't matter if you have Bobby Train, it doesn't matter. Like, you just can't, you got to score to win, and you can't score if you can't protect anybody.
So I have not seen Taylor Green on film. I don't know.
Mhm.
I've been told he's got some KJ qualities to him. What
Mhm.
can you tell me about him?
He is, just been talking to him personally. I have the pleasure of talking to him a few times. He is exactly how you want your quarterback to be. He is likable. The team loves him. His teammates love him. He's a leader. He's got a big smile, and we'll get to see him a little bit today. And he's almost like a calming presence.
Yep.
And when he came in, I saw his attributes, and he's 6'5", 6'6". He's tall. He has legs where he can really move, and he's got a cannon for an arm. But it doesn't matter if you can't do anything within the system. But all those things together, I'm not saying he's Lamar Jackson. I am not. But knowing Petrino coached Lamar Jackson, that's the quarterback that Petrino handpicked, because Sam Pittman told him, go get whoever you want. Go get your quarterback. That's who Bobby Petrino wanted. So you see something in him that he really likes.
A&M's going to have a great defense.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They should have a better offense. And last year, Connor Wigman went down early in that game.
Yeah.
Right? So why? And I'm not saying that it's a guarantee or anything, but I'm just like, what you said it so quickly and so confident, like A&M. Like, I'm just curious.
Look, I like Connor Wegman a lot. I have him higher in my quarterback rankings than most people do, because the potential that he has is really, really high. If he stays healthy, right? That's got to be, that's the biggest stress. I'm sure you guys have talked a ton about that throughout this offseason.
Yep.
If Wegman stays healthy, then yeah, A&M's going to be a really good team, and their defense is always going to be solid. I just feel with Auburn, where it lies in the schedule and being at home. Now, if this game was being played at Kyle Field, I'd be much more worried, much more stressed about it. It would not be and I'm not even saying it's a guaranteed win right now, but I'm saying you
feel good about it today, where it lays.
Yeah, especially in the schedule at home in Jordan-Hare. That's a game that, again, it's one of those that if Auburn wants to have the season that they can have in 8, 9, possibly double digit if everything goes right. We're not going to go that far just yet, but that's another game that Hugh Freeze has to expect to win, and I think Auburn fans will expect to win it going into that.
I think it's human nature to do this, but do you think yourself and analysts around the country are using Jimbo goggles with Elko's Aggies?
I think that's a fair statement. Yeah, I do, because we don't know, right? We don't know what we're going to see. And look, I like Elko. I'm intrigued by what he's going to say in the main room and around here today at SEC Media Days. But I think that's a fair statement. I really do, because until we see it, until we know what we're going to get with Mike Elko at Texas A&M, it's hard to assess what the team's going to be. And so my answer may be I'm confident that Auburn wins this game right now in July, but shoot, we're not even into football season yet. And so once we see that, my answer could change.
Closing it out here. Everybody make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and tune in to more TexAgs Radio. I know we put out a lot of content for this SEC Media Days. Everybody back here has been doing a great job, so we'll see you next time.